Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026. You're watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. My name is Graham Hughes. Nice to have you with us this morning. Hello, hello. Hello, we've got Ms. Paula Thomas in the chat. We've got Diz. We've got Lost Missionary. We've got Katrina Bryce. We have Viper Scott. Hello, Alistair. We've got Saz in the chat as well. Captain Coconut, Alex French. We've got Martin Harrow, we've got Gallifrey and Wrench, we've got Sarah Davis, blah, blah, CW, Colin Baker in there, L Butterfly Effect, Veg Pack. Yay! Everyone seems to be here this morning. This is awesome. This is very, very awesome. So welcome one, welcome all. If you'd like to join our wonderful friends in the chat here and more friends here, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and wait for a minute and you'll be able to join in with the gang, our socialites here in the chat. Now, obviously, today, a bit of a heavy subject. We're going to be talking about the war. Another one in the Middle East. And this has been triggered by Donald Trump, the guy who said that he was sick of the forever wars. So we're not going to have any more forever wars. Nevermore. So on the 35th anniversary of the end of the first Gulf War. Yes, indeed. The people in Kuwait celebrate the 28th of February, not as my birthday or Global Scouse Day. They celebrate it actually as their Liberation Day, because that was the day when the city of Kuwait City was officially liberated. And that was 35 years ago on Saturday. That war was meant to be decisive, limited, and conclusive. That was the template, the first Gulf War, the template for those of you old enough to remember, for air superiority, swift victory, ticker tape narrative. What followed was a sanctions regime, the autonomy of Kurdistan in the north of Iraq. Obviously, Saddam Hussein was left in place. There was a containment doctrine. There was a permanent basing in the Gulf by the Americans, and a geopolitical ecosystem that never truly stabilized. And this is that was the long runway to 2003. Well, I guess September 11th, 2001, but that was more to do with what was happening in Afghanistan at the time. But running into this, 2003, invasion of Iraq, second invasion of Iraq, the insurgency that came of that, ISIS, regional proxy wars spilling over, the Arab Spring, the civil war in Syria, rattled on for a decade. And here's the thing, right? A short war often turns out to be just act one of a very, very long and boring and horrific play. And when leaders promise surgical operations, history suggests otherwise. Let's say history suggests complications. Do you know what I mean? Like all the stuff that you don't think of, that you don't think is going to happen. They got rid of Maduro in Venezuela a few weeks ago. And has anything changed on the ground for the people in Venezuela? Not really. All companies have said, we don't really want to go to Venezuela. It's too dangerous. There's too much instability. And who knows who's going to take over properly in the next few years. Could be another Maduro. Could be another Hugo Chavez. So let's talk about what happened on Saturday. I will say as well, like, Saturday was my birthday, right? And I just, a year ago, on my birthday, that was the day that Volodymyr Zelenskyy was in the Oval Office and was berated by Trump and JD Vance for not wearing a suit and for not capitulating to the Russians. So he tried his best to ruin my birthday last year. And this year, he goes one further. Starts a war in the Middle East. A war which is going to spill out. It's already spilled out over the borders of Iran, but threatens to spill out into the whole world. Francis Winrow, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Should Baron Trump be on the front line? Yes, absolutely. All the other soldiers can hide behind him. Oh, I tell you what, we'll set a goal. Should we set a goal? I should explain as well before we get into this anymore that this is going to be the first and the last morning brew of the month as I'm going away. I'm leaving. Well, I'm going down to London tonight, staying in London tonight, and I'm flying out tomorrow. I will be doing travel brews on the way, which will just be done on my phone. So please, if you're not already subscribed, I know I bang on about this a lot, but please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Please, because otherwise I'll go live and half the people will say afterwards, they'll put in the comments like, I didn't know this was going to be on. And I'm like, yeah, the schedule's going to be a little less predictable over the next month. But yeah, before I go, I'm going to set a super chat goal to get some confetti for Diz for the watch. So yeah, I've just done that. Give it a minute. So yeah, Trump went one further this year by these massive missile drone strikes on Iran, taking out the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini. Fun fact: Father Ted and Father Jack and the Ayatollah Khomeini all died on February 28th. Three spiritual leaders of modern times. But yes, so this is way beyond a warning shot. Obviously, this is the decapitation of a regime, which is what they're hoping for. Trump is saying to the people of Iran, it's time to rise up now, without really understanding what the situation is like down on the ground for the typical Iranian. And it's not just, imagine like, I think they're thinking like, okay, well, we'll take out the president, we'll take out the king, and then there won't be anyone to replace the king. There won't be anyone to replace the president. But the situation in Iran isn't quite that cut and dried, and I might be wrong. That it might work. It might work, and there might be a revolution, and they might get rid of the clerics running the place forever. I don't know. But here's what you got to know, right? There is a class of people who are the clerics in Iran, like a class of people. We're talking about thousands and thousands of people, okay? We're not talking about a royal family. We're not even talking about a presidential cabinet or anything like that, These are people who are embedded in every single city, town, and village in Iran, okay? So here's the issue. Here's the problem, right? You get rid of the supreme leader, but the cleric class is still there. I was talking about this the other week when I was saying about how one of the reasons why the clerics were very much behind getting rid of the Shah, the king of Iran, who was installed by the CIA and the British in the 1950s because we wanted to be able to control the oil in Iran somehow. He was deposed not just by student protest, not by the Soviets at the time, obviously wanting to get rid so they could further their ambitions of these proxy wars around the world that were fought to the ideology of communism. The clerics were pissed with the Shah. Why were they pissed with the Shah? The Shah had pulled a Henry VIII. They hadn't had 6 wives. They had essentially dissolved the monasteries effectively. Okay, so what they had done is they had taken all the land from the cleric class. So the clerics were incredibly powerful in a group in society in Iran, and they had all their land taken off them by the Shah. He nationalized it all. He said, no, you can't have all that to yourself. Effectively, it's like, I guess in a way it would be a bit like Henry VIII making himself the head of the Church of England, and then saying to all these monasteries and all these church, all your base will belong to us, or me, I guess, for him. So yeah, that's one of the big issues that exists in Iran, and why it might be very, very difficult to actually change things down on the ground. You saw earlier this year mass protests across Iran, which were brutally put down by the regime. And if the regime didn't have a lot of power, a lot of sway, even in the small communities over in Iran, then I don't think that would have been possible. And let me just say, I don't think that the Ayatollah Khomeini was a nice guy. I really don't. I'm not going to mourn his passing at all. I'm just saying that, like, for this to work, I mean, there's 99 reasons why it won't work, and there's one why it will. Do you know what I mean? It's playing with fire, literally, and we'll come to this because there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. Sid, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. We need a regime change in America. Yes, Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But we call MAGA. We say MAGA supporters, but they're not really a class in the same way as they are the cleric class. Most MAGA supporters, it's not their job. Don't forget the clerics. It's their job. That's literally what they do. They're the people who hold services in the churches and the mosques in Iran. So it's beyond like voters, activists, volunteers, whatever that you might have supporting another party. It's a bit like maybe if you could imagine it like the civil service over there. I know it's not, but that's separate. But imagine it like it's the civil service. So they're getting paid to do that job, but instead of being paid for the job, doing it for the government, they're doing it for the church over there. So look, it's already things are already escalating. The RAF base on Cyprus, Akro Tiri, has apparently been struck by Iranian missile. Airspace closures have caused cascading travel disruption for anyone traveling from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, or just even traveling to India, trying to travel to Southeast Asia. Any planes that had stops in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, they're not going to be. They've all been cancelled. So thousands and thousands of people have been, had to cancel their holiday plans or their business travel plans. Not just because this is what we talk about when we say, when they talk about targeted strikes and surgical operations. It's like it never ends up this way. I'm not trying to make out like this stuff can never ever ever possibly work. Of course it can if you squint hard enough, but in the real world, things have a tendency to go awry. The nature of the universe tilts towards entropy. It tilts towards disorder. We've got Lebanon being pulled in. We've got Hezbollah now, who are backed by the Iranian regime. They're exchanging missile fire, gunfire with Israel at the moment. Don't forget, this is a joint US-Israel attack on on Iran. But shipping in the Strait of Hormuz has been effectively paralyzed. You can have a look on the shipping maps now. So it's not just planes having to divert around Iran or not being able to stop in these Middle Eastern cities. It's much bigger than that, because we get so much of our LNG, on that liquid natural gas, from Qatar. Have a look at the map. I've shown this before when I was talking about this, like how crucial the Strait of Hormuz is for us in Britain. We're going to see our bills go up now as a result of this. We're going to see the prices of oil go up. And you might say, well, but we don't get much oil from the Middle East. And we don't in this country. In fact, most of our oil that we get is from the North Sea, either our stuff or from Norway. But the fact remains that that oil is traded on the global market. And we pay the going rate. We don't get a discount because it's our oil. Keep telling people this. They don't believe me. Do you know what we do get a discount on? Wind power. Yeah, because it's ours. That's ours. We control that. All of it. All the wind power. The charge that we have for the amount that it costs. I know. Obviously, the bills are calculated by the highest price, which is usually gas now, because the invasion of Ukraine. But you think, well, hang on, we weren't getting much gas from Russia anyway. Why is it made our household bills go up so much? Well, dear reader, it's because it's all, dear watcher, dear viewer, it's all traded on the international exchange. You pay the going rate. If there is ships can't get through the Strait of Hormuz, they can't get any oil from Kuwait or from any gas from Qatar. They can't get anything from Abu Dhabi. They can't get anything from Dubai. They're in. That means that the price is going to go up. That's supply and demand for the stuff coming to, I don't know, India or China. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it's going, because it's traded on the international price. So if there's a bottleneck somewhere and we can't get as much oil through, the price of oil is going to go up. And because we don't have energy sovereignty in this country, which I've often talked about on this channel, how important to our national security energy sovereignty is. Because these countries in the Middle East could effectively, and Iran's probably going to do this now, they're going to make sure that no boats are going through the Strait of Hormuz, and that's going to make our prices over here for a war that we're not really that involved with. Although I know that Keir Starmer has now said that he will supply for defensive reasons, but we're not going gung-ho into this like Tony Blair did into the Iraq war, which was a huge, huge misstep. But yeah, airspace closures, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. There's already been a oil tanker that's been struck, or a ship. I don't know if it was an oil tanker, but there was always already reports on CNN of a ship, being struck, and it's just really, really I mean, it was kind of predicted because the massive build-up of US forces around that area in the last few weeks. But this has happened because of a guy who stood up in front of the American people and talked about no more forever wars. That's what he said. No more forever wars. His brand was built on ending forever wars. When I challenged a Trump voter that I met, an American, who this was during the Biden years, so this is in between the Trump regimes, and he said, I think that Trump's going to be remembered as the best president we've ever had. And I said, well, what did he do? He didn't build that wall that he said he was going to do. He didn't do loads of stuff he said he was going to do. He didn't stop Iran from developing nuclear missiles, nuclear defense, nuclear whatever they wanted to do. He didn't stop that. What did he do? And the answer that came back to me was he didn't start any wars. To which I said, well, I don't think Barack Obama started any wars. Last I checked, he was left mopping up the wars that someone else started, a Republican, of course. But I don't seem to recall Barack Obama starting any wars. But I mean, is that it? Is that it? If you're president and you spend all your time at the golf course and you never start a war, does that make you a great president? But now we can't even say that. So this is what, the ninth military intervention so far of the Trump regime. He's only been in for a year and a month. SAG, thank you very much for the, SG, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. That's very kind of you. Relatives I spoke to in the UAE who absolutely do not follow news, saying that this war has happened due to the Epstein files. So if Trump thought he was going to distract, it has brought more attention. Yeah. Well, that's something else as well. But here we go. I mean, we've got the rhetoric that Trump's come out with about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And don't forget, it was the Trump administration that negotiated with the Taliban, invited terrorists to Camp David or somewhere so they could have sit around and drink some hot tea out of little shot glasses. Said we're going to pull out and we'll let you have the country and do whatever you want. By the way, does anyone notice that Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan have started a war this weekend as well? Did anyone notice that? Has that been drowned out by all the other war stuff that's been happening on the other side of Central Asia? Okay, cool. But yes, Trump has been very critical of Iraq in the past. He's anti-intervention positioning, saying that it was against the neocons, but also the liberals, who he blames for starting all these wars. But this is the sort of the irony here, is that not the irony, but the hypocrisy of Trump. This is the guy who has repeatedly when what's his name, Barack Obama was in power, and Trump was tweeting out at the time. We've still got the tweets saying we're going to Trump said that Barack Obama was going to start bombing Iran to distract from his dreadful polling numbers. Which is kind of, I mean, I would say crazy, but it's not something that should come as any surprise to anyone who's been paying attention to the fact that Trump at the time was saying, that that Barack Obama would do this kind of thing because he wasn't doing very well in the polls. Who's not doing very well in the polls right now? Oh, Donald Trump. Funny that. Meanwhile, you've got the mealy-faced gobshites from mealy-mouthed, poo-faced gobshites from the Refuck Party. You got Richard Tice and Isabel Oakeshit saying, "Oh, we need to help people now. We need to help people from Iran. There's brave people from Iran. There's brave people from Iran." This is what Nigel Farage was. As the American attacks against this evil regime in Iran begin, I pray for the right outcome for the wonderful Persian people. To which Zoe Gardner replied, Iran was the third most common nationality of refugees on small boats in 2025. It was the number one nationality of refugees coming to the UK in the last 20 years. Nigel Farage, this Chancellor, has made his career off the suffering of wonderful people. And also, she added, Nigel Farage has said that he would suspend the Convention Against Torture in order to cut a deal to pay the Iranian regime to receive deported refugees to their persecution. That is the reform policy that his shadow Home Secretary announced the other day. And she concluded that by saying, I'm feeling like I'm losing my fucking mind here. No one else? And Zoe is absolutely, as always, on the money on this one. Absolutely on the money. And only true to the rumours that Tight and Oakeshit have hired a small boat to travel to the UK. Okay, let's get into this. So there's tens of thousands of Brits in the Middle East right now, in the Arabian Peninsula, who are wanting to come home. And you know what? They're tourists. Okay, cool. Fine. If they're millionaires who've gone to Dubai to avoid paying tax in this country and have gone on social media to brag about no longer paying tax in this country, why the fuck should we, as taxpayers, pay them to come back? Why should we be paying out for that? Why should we be helping them? I'm sorry to sound really arsey about this. I'm not actually sorry. They can fuck off. They have decided that they don't want to stay here. They don't like this country because of all the Muslims with the Sharia law and the halal and the call to prayer in the morning. I'm going to go to a country where they don't have any halal and they don't have any Sharia and they don't have any calls to prayer in the morning. Okay, Dickie. Okay, here's a bell end. You do you. You absolute twat. I'm sorry, but Iran has been indiscriminate with its strikes. The UK did not join in on the Israeli and US attacks. Yes, this is what I mean. Any kind of conflict like this will spill over the borders. Just look at what happened to Laos and Cambodia as a result of the American intervention in Vietnam. Do you think the killing fields would have happened? Do you think the Pol Pot would have happened had it not been for the regional instability caused by the Americans going into fucking Vietnam? Still fucking thousands and thousands of landmines in Laos, which the Americans say they never put there, but they totally did. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, we're getting dragged into it. Of course we're getting dragged into it. We get dragged into all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there is a question hanging over that. Why should we pay for incredibly rich British expats who left the country? Sorry, immigrants to another country, who left this country, citing not wanting to pay tax. And now they're asking for British taxpayers' money for the people who live and work in this country to help them get back. No, fuck off. Get your own fucking private jet. Or I'll tell you what, overland it to fucking Calais, all right? Get in a little fucking boat, pay a people smuggler £3,000, get in a leaky wooden boat or a leaky fucking canoe, and, come over the 30 miles to, the sea. Good luck. Tell you what, since you get a free house and a free, healthcare and dental care, you get a free phone, gold-plated phone, and what else do you get when you're a refugee? You get $1 million when you arrive, 50 billion Zimbabwean dollars. You get all that when you arrive. It's fucking great. Throw your passports overboard, guys. There you go. Throw them overboard. Say that you're from Iran. There you go. You'll be treated really well, I'm sure, by the people who vote for you, vote for these parties, vote for the refuck fuckers. But yeah, we've got a new Middle Eastern war now with no defined endpoint again. The political language is drifting into sort of regime change territory, but I don't think Trump knows what's happening here. I don't think he knows what's happening from one day to the next. I think he just wakes up every day and it's a blank slate. Doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what's going on. We've set up a special briefing room in Mar-a-Lago. Again, like what they did when they went after Maduro, and they're just putting up black curtains around the edges of one of his rooms in Mar-a-Lago. Crazy. Saz, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That is very kind of you. Tice was in Sleaford at the weekend for a photo op. That's why Starmer is weak. He has been bounced into a change of decision. I mean, I don't know what else we could do. If he was going in full-throated to say, yes, we're going to bomb the shit out of Iran because that's a good use of our resources, then I would be very much, no, I'd never do that. But this is the reality. This is the real politic of the world right now. We have put ourselves at the mercy, and the neocons, the refuckers, the Brexiters, they've put us in this position, okay? And we can criticize Starmer for so much stuff, right? But when it comes down to foreign policy, when it comes down to what we can do and what effect we can have on the world, we have shot ourselves in the collective fucking cock because of these stupid twats who continue to vote for the sovereignty party when all we ever do is surrender sovereignty to the Middle East, to the Americans, to everyone else, you know? When we were in the EU, we had more sovereignty than we'd ever had in fucking decades. We really did. But then we gave that all up for the sake of sovereignty and became a vassal state of the Middle East and America. And now when shit kicks off in the Middle East as a result of what the fucking stupid American president wants to do, it lands us in a world of fucking shit. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. And now, you know, our bases are being attacked in Cyprus as a result of something that Trump has done. More British people possibly dying as a result of something that Trump has fucking done. And these dickheads in America going, why do you care about American politics? What's it got to do with you? You're a limey. You're a pop. You're a Brit. Yeah, it's got to do with you. Shut up and eat your black pudding. Yeah. Because it does affect us. It affects everyone. As John Donne wrote like 400 fucking years ago, no man is an island. Except for the Isle of Man. The objective has now shifted, obviously, in the Middle East. The original claim was that they were trying to stop the nuclear program that they set up there. Remember that? Remember the nuclear program that was obliterated last summer? Do you remember that? Do you remember that with the week-long war, the 9-day war, whatever it was called? Yep, totally obliterated the nuclear stuff. And someone said to J.D. Vance, reporter said over the weekend, so didn't you say that you obliterated all of the nuclear sites? So how come you're going back in to obliterate the nuclear sites? And he's like, yeah, I'm not answering that question. Funny that. It's almost as they didn't get rid of them in the first place. And they were just lying about it. Like they lie about everything. But yeah, as Max has just pointed out, I feel sorry for Starmer. He's trying to keep Trump happy because of Ukraine, because we need the support of America still in Ukraine. But it makes Starmer look weak. It makes Starmer look like now he's Trump's poodle, like bloody Tony Blair was George W. Bush's poodle. And you know, there's no easy way out. Even Max is saying that I don't see how Starmer gets out of this fix, and I couldn't agree more. This is again fucking us in our country, in our domestic politics, because the Americans decided to put an absolutely incompetent, insane, psychopathic, sociopathic blob of mad flesh in charge of the White House. This fucking, this fucking boil, a plague sore on the face of humanity. Just put him in charge. But let's talk about Kabul for a moment. Can we just move geography a little bit? Let's talk about Kabul. Taliban have been firing at Pakistani aircraft. The The Taliban, the Afghan regime last week started attacking Pakistani targets along the border, and the Taliban are now claiming that they've thwarted a strike on Bagram, the former US base, and Pakistan is openly declaring what they're calling open war with Afghanistan. We've had drone strikes, we've had mortar fire hitting homes. I mean, look, I know we're all looking at Iran at the moment, but there's literally another war happening on the other side of Iran. And this is the long running dispute between the two countries, the border tensions that have never been resolved. These border disputes date back to, I mean, I want to say 1948 and the partition of India, right? But it's even further back than that. The first Anglo-Afghan war was in the 1830s. And that was when Britain decided they wanted Afghanistan as a buffer zone between the Russian Empire in the north of Asia and the British Empire in South Asia. And poor old Afghanistan never created its own borders. It never drew its own borders. Some other bastards came over from some other part of the world and drew those borders on, drew those lines on those maps. And so this is a conflict, probably 200 years, maybe even longer in the making. And then you've got the fact that, if you look at Afghanistan since 1979, which funnily enough is when they had it was the year I was born, and it was the year that we got Maggie Thatcher in the UK. For fuck's sake. We also got Reagan elected in America, right, in 1979. Jesus Christ, we had the revolution in Iran. And we had the invasion of Afghanistan by Soviet forces, which went on for about 10 years. It's a huge disaster for the Soviet Union. It's one of the reasons why the Soviet Union fell apart. Alexander the Great ran into trouble in bloody Afghanistan. You watch The Man Who Would Be King. Even Sean Connery, he was off his head. Sorry, spoilers. In Afghanistan, when they realised that he wasn't actually a god. Oh, the 10 years of Soviet invasion. And then the Americans secretly were funding the Mujahideen and sending them weapons via Israel, of all places, and Pakistan. And the Mujahideen took down the Soviets. The Soviets left with a tail between their collective legs, collective tails between their collective legs. And what happened? What happened after Charlie Wilson's war? Well, did they put any money into rebuilding the country? Rebuilding the infrastructure, the power lines, the roads, the schools, the hospitals? No, they didn't. They just fucking left it. So you had the country awash with angry young men, some of whom are orphans, lost their parents, not much, going, no good jobs, but a lot of AK-47s, a fuckload of AK-47s left behind by the Soviets. What do you think happened? Well, the Afghanistan collapsed into civil war. Of course it did. What else are you going to do in the mid-90s, except collapse into civil war in that situation? A war that was ended by the fucking Taliban. The Taliban were actually welcomed into Kabul when they first won the civil war in the 1990s. They were welcomed, because people just didn't want war anymore. That's all they're known. And the Taliban were in for a couple of years, and then the Americans said, right, that's it, we're invading because of September the 11th, which was carried out by Saudis. 15 Saudis out the 19 hijackers were Saudis. They were Saudis. And the guy who was masterminded it all, Osama bin Laden, was the very, very rich Nepo baby of the biggest construction company in Saudi Arabia, which is called Bin Laden Construction. Yeah, we make fun of Brooklyn Beckham. At least he hasn't gone into the international terrorism business. But instead of attacking Saudi Arabia, which is our friend, apparently, we attacked Afghanistan. So more years of war, more years of heartbreak, more years of terror, and now we've got the horrific images of people trying to climb up on planes to get the fuck out of Afghanistan, and during the US and UK pullout of troops there, and the Taliban took back over in a matter of hours in most cases, hours of the Americans leaving. 20 years they were there. 20 fucking years. And the Taliban couldn't get rid of them. Still there. Took over. And now people there are just fucking having to live with this this Taliban system that the US, under a peace, brokered a deal doesn't go for peace, does he, Trump? He goes for deals. Are FIFA going to ask for that peace trophy back now that he's declared war? I don't know. He hasn't declared war, has he? This is a special military operation in Iran. But yeah, the US left Afghanistan claiming closure. And it's kind of grimly ironic that Bagram, which was once a symbol of American permanence in the region, is now central again to the regional conflict. And forever wars, they don't end neatly. They just don't. They leave armed actors. They leave hardened militias. They leave grievance. They leave people who want to revenge their loved ones who have died. They leave drone warfare. They leave, porous fucking borders. They leave all these problems, all these, the insurgency that has never been properly put down. And withdrawal from an area doesn't mean stability. And going in somewhere doesn't offer stability. And now while global attention is locked on Iran, a separate conflict in Central Asia is intensifying, almost unnoticed. That's why I'm highlighting it this morning. But let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz, just to go back to that. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, I think the price of oil is probably going to go up substantially in the next few days because of all this, right? The Hormuz carries roughly a fifth of all global oil flows, or a fifth. Even partial disruption triggers insurance spikes, speculative trading, and price surges. The Saudis have responded by releasing loads more barrels of oil to try and get more oil out into the market, but at the same time, for the OPEC system that they've got, the cartel, but at the same time, it might not be enough. And for the UK, those LNG routes really fucking matter. So much of our power is created in this country by LNG. We should have 1% powered by LNG for industry or something, and 99% household power should all be fucking renewable. It should be from the sun, and it should be from wind turbines. I mean, it's just so frustrating that we've got these knobheads now who have jumped onto this like anti-net zero thing, and we keep on having these reports in twat papers like the Twatograph saying, this net zero drive, it's costing the taxpayer all this money. No, it's not. It's gonna save us money in the long run. It's gonna save us fucking billions, possibly trillions. Let's just say it, trillions. It's gonna save us trillions in the long run. It really is. Electric cars. Yes, I know they still damage the road. Yes, I know that the rubber on the tires is still a pollutant, but they're nowhere near as bad as oil-driven cars. Cars that rely on oil rely on people not bloody invading their neighbours in the Middle East. For the price. Whenever I talk to someone who goes about electric cars, I say, do you have an electric car? And the answer is always no. Always. 100% no. All the people, every single, and I know that the plural of anecdote is not data. I get that, okay? Before you at me. But I'm sure there's going to be one person in the chat who's going to say, I had an electric car and I fucking hated it and I've got one back to my fucking diesel tractor and I've never been happier, right? I'm sure there is at least one person in the chat who thinks that, but I've not met personally in my life someone, met in real life who has an electric car and wants to go back desperately to having an internal combustion engine because it's fucking shit. Like, we went to Liverpool for my birthday, right? £3 it cost us to get there. £3, plugged it in. We got a special tariff rate from Octopus. Plugged it in at my mum's when we got to Liverpool, just into the normal power, and we checked it. It was £12. £12 of power to get back. Now, four of us in a car. I'm fucking 15 quid to get to Liverpool and back. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. Because when it was a fucking diesel, when we had a diesel car, it's like 60 quid, which went up to 80 quid when fucking, the twat in Russia, Putin, decided to invade Ukraine. Yeah, great, cool, thanks. Thanks for that. You shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. I mean, because to me, these electric cars, we're still going to have traffic jams. Yeah, but I'm not wasting fuel when I'm in a traffic jam. The car stops. In fact, if you were stuck in a traffic jam for 2 days, you'd want to be in an electric car. Because I'm telling you now, the 2 days of fucking power that you get out of that lasts longer than your your petrol car, if you kept the engine running, would last 2 days. Even sitting, not moving, but with the heater on, so you don't freeze to death. But yeah, absolute fucking crazy. Chris says Saudi's Ras Tanura oil refinery came under attack on Monday from drones, causing ceasing production. Yeah, and these facilities, they're not things, and the Russians have learnt this the hard way. They're not things that can be repaired easily. These facilities, especially oil refineries, there's a lot of specialized equipment that has been built specially for that particular refinery in that particular part of the world, with those particular elements, and not the elements, I mean, open to the elements of the particular infrastructure and the climate, that's the word I want, climate of the particular place that you're putting it into. It's not like you can just go to B&Q and get the part you need. Do you know what I mean? Or Halfords. Hey, I'm looking for a part from the oil refinery. It doesn't work that way. It could be weeks, it could be months before these things come back online. And energy sovereignty, that is the ideological fucking banner that we should all be behind right now. So that when all this kind of shit kicks off, it doesn't drive our energy bills up. It doesn't drive British people into fuel poverty. Of course, the billionaires and the millionaires, they don't want that. They want us all to suffer, because it's not enough for them to win. Everyone else has got to lose. And then you've got the Gulf states, the allies of America in the Gulf are paying the price now. It's civilian airports and ports and hotels exposed, the missile interceptions over cities that are just not built for war. Governments are forced into a defensive posture against Iran, regardless of their public stance. And these states have generally tried to avoid being active combatants in all of the shit that's gone down in the Middle East. Yeah, but geography there, that's kind of overruled diplomacy. I think even Oman was hit. Oman, which is like the Switzerland of the Gulf, of the GCC, of the Saudi Peninsula. Sorry, the Arabian Peninsula. I still call it the Saudi Peninsula. It's the Arabian Peninsula. And then we've got the whole thing with Brits being stranded in Dubai, with this global transit hub, and in Doha, the capital of Qatar. Cancelled flights, expired visas approaching, sky-high accommodation costs in a country where there's no bankruptcy protection. You go bankrupt, you go to jail. The insurance companies are... It's already disputes. Already. We're only like 2 days into this thing, and already disputes with the insurance companies saying, well, this is a force majeure. No, it's not. It's a force of Trump. Families on holiday, workers, connecting passengers, long-term residents. Yeah. And yeah, like I say, if you've gone into tax exile in the Middle East, right? If you're going to be a tax exile, right? Where there's low or zero income tax environments in the UAE or Qatar or Bahrain or Kuwait, there's a lot of trouble, isn't there? These are the people who are very public with their rhetoric about Britain being finished. We've been invaded. There's a flood of invaders coming from the Middle East and changing the cultural capital of that country. So they go to Dubai, a city with no fucking cultural capital whatsoever, and they go there and they enjoy the indoor ski slope in the desert in one of the many shopping malls they have there. Shopping malls and hotels. Sterile, bleak, inhumane. That's what exists. On Saturday night, ended up at the Jack, because of course it did. Why would you not go to the Jack? In the basement, watching this little cover band going at it, playing all these boss songs. Just, the ceiling is like this high above our heads. We're all jumping up and down, trying not to knock our heads on it. Just fucking brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Real life fucking culture. And every fucking corner of Liverpool, there's something going on, And you contrast that to the Middle East, where it's just, the best word to describe it is sterile. It's just a sterile environment. It's like living in a fucking blast furnace. You open the door to go out of a building in Dubai. And I lived in Dubai. Well, I didn't live in Dubai. I was in Dubai for a month during my adventure around the world. And, I had a good time there. Do you know why? Because I was looked after by people, a bunch of people. I had a friend living over there, so I could stay with him. And I had the Couchsurfing network, and also my TV show was on TV. My TV show started while I was in Dubai, and it was on TV in Dubai, and it was one of the few English language channels that people could get. Was the National Geographic Adventure Channel, so a lot of people watched it. So that was great for me, but I mean, I had a good time for a month, but I wouldn't want to fucking live there. Wouldn't want to live there. It's too dangerous. I don't mean it like you might get mugged, you might get beaten up. I don't know. I don't think it's dangerous in that respect. I mean, it's like you might say the wrong thing to the wrong person and end up in a jail cell. I've got a friend who got into trouble in the particular part of the Middle East. I'm not going to say which part, but he was really, really fucked over by the authorities over there. And at one point, they made him stand up. They made him stand up for about for 2 fucking days. They wouldn't let him sit down. I mean, this is and that was just part of the course. It was just, this is what we do to people who cross the border without a valid visa or something, or whatever small transgression he had caused. So yeah, so we've got the uncomfortable fact that the people who are spreading the panic narrative of what the UK is becoming, who fucked off to Dubai, now want to come home because the missiles landed on their heads. For some reason, they're appealing to the British state to help them. The British state that they said, we don't want to contribute to this British state anymore. And it raises 2 separate principles here. First of all, that citizenship matters, right? The state has a duty of care to protect its nationals in genuine danger. And, consular protection is not conditional on any kind of political agreement or anything. But I think we need to look at this. I think it could be a massive vote winner. If we're going to go after people who are fleeing here with good reason to claim asylum, we're going to go after them. Can we not go after the millionaires who haven't contributed at all? Because don't forget, all the refugees who come here want to work. They all want to work. They all want to contribute. They all want money. I mean, the only way you can get money is by working in this system. They're not coming here for benefits. They don't get any benefits. But also, they've got the second principle is the fairness to taxpayers here. I think if evacuation flights are required, who pays? We do. The British taxpayer pays for those evacuation flights. So we've got to ask this question now. Should emergency extraction be structured as a repayable loan for those it means? How about we charge them £9,000 and it goes up, by a couple of thousand every year until they can pay it off? And they've got 30 years. They have to pay it off slowly over 30 years, and the amount that they owe just keeps going up and up and never ends for 30 years. 30 years they've got to pay. Is it reasonable that someone who's structured their life to avoid UK taxation receives taxpayer-funded evacuation money to be evacuated with no consequences? No contribution. It's not about denying help. It's about, should we be giving an unconditional subsidy to millionaires who fled this country so they didn't have to pay tax? They didn't have to chip in? And the hypocrisy is so... I mean, you could see the hypocrisy from the fucking moon. The people who fled Britain over imagined Islamization now find themselves in the very societies they claimed were superior alternatives to Islamization. Islamic countries. I'm not saying these people are dickheads, but these people are dickheads. Well, I guess they know what they're doing, but the people who follow them, I mean, come on. It's not just a moral tension and political tension. It's just the hypocrisy of it all. The outspoken, full-chested hypocrisy. And here's the problem with going back to Starmer. If UK bases were used operationally, then Britain is indirectly implicated. And this attack on RAF Akrotiri in Greece, sorry, not in Greece, in Cyprus, exposes, it increases our exposure to being attacked. I mean, obviously, it's already happened. And Starmer now faces calls for stronger support of US action. At the same time, there's also people calling on him to condemn what the US is doing. He is stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I feel like there's a lot of people here who are not going to feel any sympathy whatsoever for fucking Keir Starmer for some of the major mistakes he's made so far. But in this particular situation, I don't know what I would do. I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying this. I'm so glad I'm not Prime Minister of this country right now, because it is a fucking shit sandwich that you're having to eat each morning. But wake up, Kia. What's for breakfast today? It's another shit sandwich. It's from America. Look, they brought it over in a little bow with the American flag on it. Little cocktail stick with the American flag. And he's got pressure over getting these stranded citizens back, but also the energy price woes. The energy price goes up. People are gonna blame the government. Of course they are. We can't be a neutral spectator in all this. We just can't be, because no man is an island. Why does no one listen to John Donne anymore? And so we've got the fact that we've got this, the regime change, apparently. The Trump urging Iranians to seize the moment, carpe diem. It kind of pushes expectations beyond military objectives. At least last summer, when they said, we are going to take out the nuclear enrichment facilities. Which they didn't do, but they said that was their objective. But this time, it's far too woolly. It's very difficult for them to put this together and make it fucking work, because it relies on a lot of things that are absolutely uncontrollable in Iran. I don't know what's going to happen. Resloy, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I missed your live shows over the weekend. Hope you had a great birthday, my friend. Oh, thank you very much, Resloy. No, I didn't do any live shows over the weekend because I was out with my friends and my family, and it was a surprisingly hectic day, Resloy, on Saturday. So get up in the morning, and I'm straight. I've got to get into town and do. I was interviewed on Radio Merseyside at 12:30 on Saturday. Met Sean Styles, and we talked about Global Scouse Day, which is the day when people in Liverpool eat Scouse. We put Scouse on the menu. A lot of bars and restaurants and pubs will put Scouse on the menu, often to raise money for charity. In the past, we've had Liverpool and Everton football clubs getting involved. We've had Virgin Trains putting Scouse on the menu for the day, coming in and out of Liverpool back when it was Virgin Trains. We've had Liverpool John Lennon Airport celebrating it and all this kind of stuff. I mean, and we've raised loads of money for Alder Hey. We've raised money for the Clatterbridge Cancer Clinic. We've raised money for Paper Cup and Whitechapel Centre, which are two homeless charities in Liverpool. And it started because I used to have Scouse on my birthday when I lived in Liverpool in Old Park. I had Scouse, and I would just make a big, massive. Me and my girlfriend would make massive pots of it. We'll make two pots. We'll make one of blind Scouse, the vegetarian version, and one of normal Scouse. And when people came around for my birthday, and it was because all my friends have ADHD, so I don't know whether they're going to turn up or not. It was kind of like a good way of making sure that we had enough for everyone if everyone turns up, and it eminently reheatable for when people turn up late. And when I left to go traveling around the world on my adventures, my friends continued the tradition in my absence, and it became a thing. Like literally while I was away, it became a thing that people ate Scouse on my birthday in Liverpool. It became an actual thing. In fact, a few years ago, we had Kim Cattrall, she was on the Graham Norton show, I think, and she mentioned that it was Global Scouse Day on my birthday. I was like, wow, because she's a Scouser. Kim Cattrall there from Mannequin, and also Police Academy, and also Sex and the City, maybe, if you know from that. And also Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, you forgot she was in that, didn't you? We had who's the guy from the Scaffold? The guy from the Scaffold, the band. He's a Liverpool poet. He wrote a poem one year for Global Scouse Day, which was really cool. Anyway, so it's been going on now for over a decade, and in Liverpool, the Mar Boyle's Oyster Bar, which is just around the back of St Nick's Church, opposite the Liver building. They had a whole Scouse menu. It was really, really cool with different Scouse that you could have. You get like spicy Scouse, Guinness Scouse, which is what I had. And if you don't know what Scouse is, it's stew. It's just stew. It's just Liverpool stew. It's where we get our nickname and our name of our accent from. Yeah, so that was really cool. So we did the interview. My mum and Kat had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee at Blue Coat Chambers in Liverpool, the oldest building in Liverpool, actually. Not in Liverpool, in the city centre. Went over to Marboyles, had some Scouse. Then we went over to the British Music Experience. It was in the Cunard building where they've got an exhibition on the Arctic Monkeys on their first album, and the artwork for the first album and what went into it. And it's a really great exhibition and well worth checking out. But I knew that there was a picture of me in there somewhere because the guy who I'm friends with the guy who designed the album cover co-designer of the album cover for the Arctic Monkeys for their first couple of albums. And our Politics Social rose, the rose there, yeah, see that was designed by Scott Jones, formerly of Juno. So it's the same guy who did the album covers for the Arctic Monkeys. And I had completely forgot. What's the maddest thing that you've forgotten? I forgot that they did a photo shoot for the Arctic Monkeys' first album in my flat in Liverpool. I completely forgot this, right? I actually texted my ex-girlfriend in Australia and said, do you remember there being a photo shoot for the Arctic Monkeys in our flat in Liverpool? And she went, yeah, I do. They drank all our tea. And I was like, OMG, that's the maddest thing I've ever forgot. Anyway, the reason why I probably forgot it is it wasn't included in the album. So it was going to be one of the pictures because the album was based on I think it's the Albert Finney movie, Saturday Night, Sunday Morning. Is that the name of it? I think. And it's about like working class people going out and having a good time on a Saturday night. And I'm looking at these pictures, right, in this exhibition, and I'm staring at it and staring. I'm like, that looks like my old kitchen. Hang on, that. And then it dawned on me that actually those pictures were from my old kitchen in Orwell Park in Liverpool. Crazy days. And there was a picture of me. And I'm like, look, because it was a bit far from the glass. So and I'm nudging my mum going, is that me? And she's like, I don't know. I get my camera, I get my phone out and I'm like zooming in on the phone. I'm like, was I ever that slim? Did I ever have hair that magnificent? But yeah, there was a picture of me in there. So that was cool. So then after that, met up with a couple more mates and we went up to do an outside escape room. There's a place in Liverpool called Escape Hunt in the Albert Dock, and they have escape rooms. Well, I decided to do an outside escape room, right, where you run around the city and you've got to be in a certain location and collect clues and stuff. And it had literally rained every day, every single day this year until my birthday, until Saturday. And then the sun came out in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, thank God for this. It would have been so shit in the rain. In fact, I said to the guy, who was running it, I said, well, what do you do if it rains? And he goes, well, most people just sack it off. Like, thank God we didn't do that. Anyway, so then, after that, went to the Renshaw Street Market for some food and met with a few more friends. And then it was a case of, obviously hitting the bars, hitting the places. And we ended up going the Jack, ended up going the heebie-jeebies. Not been there for a while. Downstairs in the heebie-jeebies. Still the same. As the Wombats once sung. Went back to Liverpool and everything stayed the same. So yeah, I was out till 4:00 in the morning. Then I had to get up early. Go and have breakfast. See some of my family. And then jump in the car, come back to Durham, get set up for the show. Plug in the Switch 2, get that working, get that plumbed into the internet. And spent yesterday evening. I was going to do a live show yesterday, but then I decided to sack it off in the end because it's the last time I'm going to be able to hang out with the kids for a month because I'm going to be away. So we just whiled away a couple of hours playing Super Mario Kart, unlocking the special cup. We got and then Rainbow Road, number 1, first time, of course. Yeah, so that was cool. That was very, very cool. So yeah, what was everything? The older I get, the more I love Liverpool. I'm a mix of Welsh and Liverpool, Welsh and Irish. Liverpool's just the best. It's just the fucking best. Liverpool would be awesome. I'd love to live there. So would I, Res Loy. So would I. In Manchester, but glad. Only set 37 minutes on the train from Manchester, Victoria, which is near home. Yeah, cool. Breaking news, Iran claims it has struck British oil tankers with missiles as footage emerges of ships up in flames. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh! I've talked about what will happen if one of those gas tankers gets hit. The tanker full of LNG gets hit. Fucking hell. The explosion off that's going to be fucking insane. Been through Liverpool before when I went up to Scotland. Too much concrete, like every city I've ever been to, barring Exeter. Oh. Sorry. Got a nice cathedral that doesn't look like it's made of concrete. Although it is. At this rate, I'll be living in Alicia's attic, hiding from ICE UK, even though I'm English white. Maybe I'll hide there and start a dive. I hope that doesn't happen. Look, if anything, this is going to make the fuckers look even more hypocritical than they already look. And hopefully this will, if any silver lining to this cloud comes, it's going to be as a result of, it's going to be as a result of people looking at this drive to stop net zero, saying, "Oh, it's going to cost us more money." It's like, well, actually, look what happens if we don't do this. Because why are we relying on the Middle East for our energy when the Middle East is fundamentally unstable? And yes, we're probably very much guilty for being part of the group of countries that fucking destabilize the region. But nevertheless, I really don't like the idea of them being in charge of how much a nan has to pay to get her put her heating on. So yeah, there's no signs that Iran's nuclear facilities have been damaged, says the nuclear watchdog, and there's footage that's emerged of a fighter jet crashing in Kuwait, but apparently the crew managed to eject. The latest reports are saying, but several US fighter planes have crashed in Kuwait, so several, more than one. With the crew unharmed. The cause is being investigated. One plane plummeted to the ground, was caught on film. And you're talking about obviously it's you don't want people to die, and the crew got out, then good. But at the same time, that they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Then they're fucking fighter jets. It's millions and millions of dollars for each one. I've feared for some time that it's inevitable at this point. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't start in my lifetime. I don't think it will. Like the fucking gobshites who the refuckers. What we always need to never lose sight of is the fact that people fucking hate them. People absolutely fucking hate them more than people hate Labour, which is remarkable considering how many people Labour have gone around managing to piss off in the last 20 months. But yeah, they're really hated. People will turn out to vote against them. And whichever way you cut what happened on Thursday in that election, right? Whichever way you cut it, this fact remains. If the progressive vote between the Greens and Labour was so large, over 24,000 votes, compared with how many the refuck and the Tories got, which was about 10,000 votes, that no matter how those votes between Labour and the Greens had shaken out, there is no mathematical way that refuck could have won that election. And I think you'll see that playing out all over the country because people will be motivated to vote against the refuck fuckers. Miss Paula Thomas, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The question being asked in the US overnight was whether Starmer would invoke Article 50 over the attack on Aquatiri. I don't think they will. Not at this point, anyway. And Martin Harrow, £2 super chat for Diz, and to wish you well on your travels. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Martin. And that means the confetti has unleashed. Thank you, Miss Paula Thomas, and thank you, Martin, for unleashing the confetti, the first confetti of the new month. That's very exciting. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So we'll start a new goal. We've got a bit to talk about today. I'm going to go on probably until about 11, and then I've got to get packing to leave the country. Oh, try not to forget me passport. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, like I say, I'm gonna be broadcasting from the road, giving you little snippets. I'll probably do something from Heathrow Airport tomorrow, especially as all the flights are going to be disrupted going the other way, going to the east. I'm going to the west, thank God. You know, like Esteban in the mysterious cities of gold. I'm going to forge a path towards the setting sun to El Dorado. And well, Ginger Island anyway. And yeah, so yeah, please join me for that. Oh well, let's the oil markets today are going to probably go crazy. I mean, they've already surged sharply, but they have partially eased. Stock futures have dipped, and energy and defense stocks have risen. Of course, that was going to happen. And yeah, and you know, if the Strait of Hormuz remains constrained, you know, $100 for a barrel of oil might become plausible, and that will lead to inflationary pressure globally. And where now? Where can all this go? Well, there could be, you know, rapid de-escalation via back channels, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the situation right now. We've got the idea of internal Iranian transition with power consolidation in one particular group. But I mean, the reality is it might fall apart into regional militias, just like it did in Iraq, And meanwhile, you know, Afghanistan and Pakistan are going at it. So that's simmering away in the background. And I mean, you know, the 35th anniversary of the end of the Gulf War, and we are reminded that wars, you know, they reshape regions for decades, 35 years. Okay, now, I mean, what? So I'll be what 82 for another 35 years. Okay, now. Political slogans, you know, they tend to collapse under the gravity of geography. And I say this as well, like, I really do feel that there are, you know, we call people like intellectually challenged or something, you know, or hard of thinking. But I do think there's a lot of people out there who just do not understand geography at all and how it impacts our lives. They think that everything just comes like pre-packaged in the supermarket, you know, and just appears on the shelves. They have no idea about logistics and how it all fits together and how we get food from one place and raw materials from another and factory built shit from some other place. I mean, just the global networks that have grown up over the years that we completely rely on that seem to operate invisibly in the background. If they get disrupted, we know about it. Oh my God, do we know about it? We really fucking do know about it. Anyway, so yeah, and you know, I think that we are in danger of going down a route into another fucking forever war. This is a war that Saudi Arabia have wanted for decades. Saudi Arabia and Iran have been at each other's throats for a very long time. And this is why Saudi Arabia, you got to understand the regional politics there. They do not like the Houthis in Yemen. This is why they bomb the Houthis in Yemen. They do not like Hezbollah in Lebanon because, you know, they're a Shia militant group, and the Sunni Islam is the dominant religion in Saudi Arabia. They don't like Hamas in Palestine, so they're quite happy for the Israelis to do whatever the fuck they want. You do know that if Saudi Arabia, with all its money, all its resources, said to Israel, fucking pack it in, they would. We have people protesting, of course we do, and it's quite right that they go out and protest, you know, against what Israel is doing in Palestine. But as I've said before, we are limited, and we've limited ourselves. We've voted for this. We've limited. We've reduced the size of our presence on the world stage on purpose because we retreated back into ourselves like some, you know, like a micro penis, because we were sold it by the millionaires who were backed by the Saudis. But the Saudis, realistically, if they wanted to stop the mistreatment and some of the horrific acts of violence and horrific war atrocities that have been carried out by the Israeli forces in Gaza. They could have done it. They could have just made a fucking phone call. They chose not to, though. So once you've got rid of Hamas, once you've neutralized the Houthis, once you've exploded the pages of people who were fighting for Hezbollah, who's left? Iran. This is Saudi Arabia's wet dream. Do you think they're asked about oil shortages maybe coming up on the horizon? Just pushes up the price of oil. Also, wars burn a lot of oil. And one of the things that the oil companies love is just burning oil. They just want us to just burn through as much fucking oil as possible. The more the merrier, as far as they're concerned, which is why AI and cryptocurrency both use loads of fucking fossil fuels. And they're completely fucking useless. For useless endeavors in the greater scheme of things. Chris says mass evacuation of cities across the Middle East may be necessary if nuclear power stations attacked. Nuclear chief says, yeah. And Mr. Tisk says, which cheered up after Thursday result. Frankly, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a really good result, not just for the Greens, but I think it was a good result for Labour, to be honest with you, because it couldn't kick up the arse and say, look, we're not happy about the direction you're going. But yeah. And Gallifreyan men saying I was talking about World War III. I don't think we're going to go into World War III. It's not good for business. Small wars are great for business. Small wars in certain areas, regional conflicts, civil wars. Civil wars are fantastic for business. If your business is making weapons and selling oil. A global war, World War III, not so good. Why? Because people stay in their homes. People don't go out. Hide in the basement. So small wars, okay, but a world war, that'd be fucked. And they like getting money. They like getting fucking money, don't they? On that delightful note, I have things I need to do to take my mind off the rubbish of the world. Remember, Witchy is live at 6 p.m. this evening, so remember to watch the Witchy Goth tonight at 6 p.m. That's be cool. I actually think we're looking at a NATO Article 6 argument rather than Article 5. It says Bolskov. I don't know what Article 6 says. What does Article 6 say? When you post, it's like I read English in a second language badly. It says Lost Mystery, talking to the Billy. Geography, geology, you have to know both reasonably well to really get paid in ontology. Well, to be honest with you, mate, geography and geology, I think you need to know both pretty well to know anything about fucking global politics. Think about it. A lot of global politics is tied up in geography, where we draw boundaries, where we draw borders, where people live in one place or another, but also geology, what materials, minerals, what oil, what power, how much sun does this particular region get, what crops can grow in this particular soil. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that are set by geography, and I keep on, the importance of knowing at least a little, I guess, about geography in order to make good decisions when it comes to politics. And leaving the EU, for instance, was a very, very bad decision. A stupid decision. A really fucking stupid, idiotic, moronic decision taken by arrogant morons who think they know more about the world than anyone else because they read the Daily fucking Mail. That, as a consequence, that has just fucked us. It's absolutely fucked us. And it came about because people didn't understand geography. They didn't understand the importance of economic gravity. You trade most with the people nearby you. I don't think this is too complicated. I don't think that someone who points this out deserves a Nobel fucking Prize for economics. It's quite simple. Do you trade more as a little corner shop with the people who live near your corner shop, or people on the other side of the world who don't have a fucking wet welly between them? Do you know what I mean? Like, who, what, when, how? It's so ridiculous. And that seems so evident for me from the get-go. And then I had these fucking idiots saying to me, I understand that people have their own sort of idea about, how intelligent they are and how they grasp everything. I don't think I'm particularly intelligent, but I have got qualifications and I have got a lot of experience of the world, a lot more than most, okay? Let's just put it that way. And for them to just wave this hand like this, like the fucking Queen going past on a fucking motorcade, right? Oh, we'll just trade with the rest of the world. We do this, the rest of the world, Graham. We've got the rest of the world to trade with. No, we don't. No, we don't. There is no rest of the world for us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Because every single one of those fucking countries has somewhere else to get the stuff from that they need. They've got somewhere else they can buy it from. There's nothing we can fucking sell them. Except services, which, I mean, we weren't constrained for services anyway in the EU. What difference does it make? We were allowed to fucking trade with the rest of the world when it came to services, which is a big bulk of our economy. But when it comes to material goods, when it comes to fucking manufacturing, yeah, we just fucking shot ourselves in the. But yeah. Will petrol run out? No. We don't get that much petrol from the Middle East. We don't. And don't forget, if Saudi Arabia needs to get petrol out of Jeddah, they can get petrol out of Jeddah, which is not on the Gulf, because they're on the other side of it. It's just those countries, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, they all have to go through the Strait of Hormuz in order to get their stuff out of the country. And also don't forget, right, the amount of oil you can put on one oil tanker is the equivalent of something ridiculous, like, I don't know, 50,000 lorries. So 50,000 lorries driving oil through across the Arabian desert, you know, over to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. I mean, the logistics behind that are just, obviously there's pipelines and stuff as well, which, you know, we will see what happens at the disruption of that. But like I say, we get most of our oil in this country, the vast majority, from the North Sea, and that's Norwegian or it's British. So no, we're not going to run out of oil. What will happen is oil will just become more expensive because there'll be a limitation put on it, and supply and demand. Supply goes down, demand stays the same, the cost of things goes up. Edgy, that's why they financed Farage's gang. Yeah, the Saudis fucking financed him, and so did the Russians, because they want to sell the oil, don't they? I'm smart enough to know an idiot when I see one. Smart enough to see through bullshit, says Al. Yeah, I like to think that I'm a bit like that, you know. And often there'll be someone on the TV or something, and they'll be talking, and there'll be something about them I don't like. There'll be something about them that just, I don't know, set something off in me. I'm just like, I don't like this person. And that's a bit shit. That's a bit shit. When I just go, yeah, don't like him. I feel bad, you know. I feel bad. Why don't you like them? There's just something about them I just don't like. And then years later, it turns out they were a massive fucking rapist. And I'm like, oh, okay, right. That's probably why I didn't like them from the get-go. When other people were going on about how intelligent and clever and awesome they were. I wish people listened to me in the first place. But you just don't know, do you? If your instincts point someone else as a wrong on, they're usually right. Yeah, Andy. I think that's true. I mean, look, anyone can make mistakes and anyone can fuck up in their lives. I mean, often we do, and that's something else. I think there's a thing where there are certain people out there who do not have anyone's best interests at heart apart from their own, and they go around, and I keep saying this, but it's not enough for them to win. Everyone else has to lose. They have to take something from everyone else, you know. These fuckers and Trump and stuff. They have to. They can't just be. They can't just live in the White House. They've got to destroy everything the Kennedys did. You know, they've got to pave over the Rose Garden. They've got to destroy the Kennedy Center in Washington. They've got to stop people from performing there and people wanting to go there. And yeah, it's all really fucking grim. So yes, I wonder if that instinct is why psychos don't have pets. Well, Andy, I disagree with you there, mate. I think psychos do have pets. There's a lot of people who are fucking horrible who have dogs, and they treat dogs horrifically badly. And I really want them to bring dog licenses back. They used to have them when I was a kid. I don't know why they stopped. Having dog licenses. I really feel like that. And if you mistreat a dog, That's it. You don't get a dog license. You're banned for life from owning a dog. And if you try to own a dog, you get put in fucking jail. Particularly with dogs, right? Because if you mistreat a cat, they tend to fuck off and go somewhere else, right? If they can get out the flat. Whereas if and other animals, if you mistreat them as pets, they fucking die. Whereas dogs are, especially, mutts, they're very hardy for a start, not a pedigree. But also they're very stoic, and they're very, very, very loyal. And people mistreat their animals, and their animals, mistreat their dogs, and they get away with it. And I think you'll find that a lot of people who mistreat humans started on animals. So yeah, but yeah, maybe that is a thing. Maybe but then again, I mean, you go around to some people's houses and their animals are all over you, like jumping on you, and just think that you're the most amazing thing ever. And you go into someone else's house and they look at you and go, "Ah, fuck this," and walk out. So you never know. Psycho pets are a pit bull accessory. Yeah. Dog licenses are not a vote winner. Says plastic spudger. They should be. We are a nation of animal lovers. We really are a nation of animal lovers. And if you had a campaign saying protect animals, bring back dog licenses so that psychos can't have fucking dogs and mistreat animals, I think a lot of people will get on board. It's all marketing. Gee, the cost of a dog license was so low it didn't cover the admin, so they were dropped. Yeah, I think for the good of dogs, they should bring them back. Absolutely, bring them back. Dog licenses. We've got to have a license to have a fucking TV in this country, for Christ's sake. Definitely, dogs. So we're going to go over to the papers now, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I apologise in advance for this. But here we have the Daily Express. 94,000 Brits trapped in the Middle East. Mass evacuation plan as Britain allows US to use our bases to attack Iran. Hundreds of thousands of tourists and expats in the Gulf are being urged to register with the British Embassy in case of a mass evacuation with a shelter in place warning issued. So yeah, I mean, I think this whole situation is really grim. I feel for the people who are trapped over there, who aren't the few, and it's not that many, but there are people who have made a big public thing about living in the Middle East to get away from other Muslims in this country, and not paying tax, and now that's come back to bite them on their arse. So I think we should be making more of that, Okay. Trump vows to press on. President says plan to eradicate Iran regime ahead of schedule. Tehran's reprisals breach defences of Gulf states and Israel. That's outside the Iranian embassy in London there. So that's not actually in Iran. That picture of the ladies taking a selfie there. We've got Starmer U-turn on military bases. Britain has given the US permission to mount defensive airstrikes from joint bases to stop Iran being able to launch waves of missile and drone attacks. Yeah. We get dragged in. We get dragged into this shit. Britain backs war on Iran. Trump says regime ready for talks to end attacks. Number 10 plans mass evacuation to save thousands in Gulf. Oil prices to jump 10% as OPEC nations cash in on conflict. And then we've got, under that, we've got chasing the deadly thud of missiles around Tel Aviv in a Kia Picanto. We've also got down in the stupid stories at the bottom whether they got right to permanent asylum ends today. So this is something that has been brought in by our new Home Secretary, who I think is a fucking arsehole. And then we've got British Museum thief took 300 artworks. So people robbing stuff for the British Museum turning around and going, hey, that's our job. We've got Cardinal brought his phone into the conclave. Naughty. Reba cheated, says Spurs after 2-1 defeat. So there you go. And we've got Stranded here. Wow, there's a blast there near the Burj Al Arab Hotel, which is a British designed hotel that designed to look like a sail of a boat, a sail of a boat, because modern architecture. Thousands of Brits trapped in Iran's strike range. PM will back US war jets with the use of our bases. Hundreds of thousands of Brits were trapped in the Middle East last night. Well, it was 93,000. Make your fucking mind up. We've got the Great Escape. 94,000 Brits face evacuation as Iran wages war. Reported in the Star there. Middle East terror. Bomb strike hits Iranian capital Tehran. We've got another. There you go. 7 signs your husband is quiet quitting your marriage. I mean, there's a whole thing in the Daily Mail. There's a whole little sort of subsection of the Daily Mail that's just dedicated to making people feel uneasy in their relationships. It's a bit weird, that, isn't it? UK draws up rescue plan for Britons trapped in Gulf states, reports the Mail there. We've got Middle East rocked by a second day of bombing. And there's a story there saying that its war has been launched swiftly. Its consequences are likely to be long-lasting, which is exactly my point of everything I've been talking about this morning. It's just the idea of the forever war. And I don't know. I don't want this to be the way things are forever. For the rest of my life, the rest of our lives is just one battle after another. I don't want it. I don't want it. UK planning to evacuate Britain from Middle East as Iran war grows. And then we've got the Independent here. 3 US troops dead as attacks escalate across the Middle East. Hey, I tell you what Trump is really good for. He's great at killing Americans, isn't he? Here's all the Americans that he's killed. Well, there's Americans that have died because of Trump. Just saying. And Peter Frankopan there writing at the top of the screen. Donald Trump's attack on Iran is the most important moment in world history since 9/11, arguably. And then we've got the Metro here with Iran's revenge from martyred Ayatollah and death throes of the tyrant. 3 US soldiers killed, 5 injured as Iran promises a graveyard. We hit aircraft carrier claim is mocked by Trump's military. RAF down jets down drones as reeling Tehran rejigs its regime. So yeah, all pretty grim out there. And then finally we'll go to the Financial Times, which is increasingly becoming the only sensible newspaper out there. We've got Gideon Rackman there. Trump seems to have forgotten the regime change lessons of Afghanistan and Iraq. He forgot what he had for dinner last night, mate. I mean, never mind fucking history of the region of Central Asia and the Middle East. Iran seeks vengeance for Khamenei with strikes on Israel and US Gulf allies. First American casualties of 3 soldiers are killed and 5 wounded. Disruption to shipping lane poised to drive up global energy prices, as I've been saying. Trump says military campaign is running ahead of schedule. And between explosions, an eerie silence fills the streets of normally chaotic Tehran. And we've got the Ayatollah Khamenei there on the left. The defining feature of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's 37 years in charge of Iran was a foreign policy built towards hostilities towards the US and Israel. As ruler, he oversaw a period of low growth and high inflation that pushed many below the poverty line, while political and social repression fueled dissent. As he persisted with his hardline politics, he came to embody an aging theocracy seen as out of touch with reality, stubborn and resistant to change, which, can't argue with that. It totally was. So yeah, I fixed my gas and electricity early. That's good. Get your fixed prices in. I wonder if Iranians are smart enough to mine the shit out of that strait. Well, yeah, that's the worry. If they start mining that strait and no ships can get through. Yeah, especially if they put magnetic mines in there. Will America accept Iranian refugees? No. They create a mess. They don't fucking help clear it up afterwards. I mean, come on. We've got better things to do. Like, I don't know. Have we got better things to do? What time is it? It's 10:30. Should we? Does anyone want to play Geoguessr? Because that was quite fun, wasn't it? Did we enjoy playing Geoguessr the other day? Yeah. Come on, let's do it. Let's have a game. Do you want to play it? Do you want to play Geoguessr? Did everyone enjoy it the other day when we played it? Let me know in the chat. Some people be like, "No, Graham, fucking, we want to talk about the news. Don't want to watch you play fucking Geoguessr, you mad bastard." You can then, all opinions are valid. In fact, let's do a poll. Should we do a poll? Start a poll. And the question is Geoguessr. Geoguessr time. Is it Geoguessr time? Yeah, that's what we want to know. It would help if I spelled Geoguessr right. It's spelled like that. Okay, there you go. Okay, vote now. Vote now or forever hold your peace. Oh, you can talk about other stuff other than bloody, what's going on in the Middle East. God, it's just all a bit grim, isn't it? It's just all a bit fucking grim. Let's have a look on this, see if we can get this picture up to here. Gee, I guess there we go. That's not the one I want. So I'm just gonna play with this while I wait for the oh, it's 52-48. Oh wow. It's the Brexit. It's the infernal ratio all over again. Dear God, not the infernal ratio. Oh shit. Well, that sucks. Let's see, 56. Oh, I don't think that's enough. I think we were getting like a super majority here. I'll just fucking do it. But that's I think people tune in to talk about the news. It's just all so grim though, isn't it? Isn't it just grim? Does no one else think this really? It's not great, is it? By any stretch of any imagination. Let's just see. No money for social care, but money to join in this. Says Urbane Legend. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. That is very kind of you. Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. I hate that we live on this timeline. 61%. Ooh, 60. So 31 votes. 61 for. Is that almost a super majority? We only get 3. We've got 2 minutes to call it. Okay, should we do it? Any hints? Gratefully accepted. Let's end this poll. Let's do this funky chicken. Okay, 61% say yes, so we'll do it. Look, this will be quick. I'll let you go. I'll let you go about your business. Here we go. Okay. Dun dun dun. Hey, lovely. Okay, right. Play now. You ready for this? Let's go. Right, come on. Hurry up. Takes too long. Just waited 3 seconds there. Okay, so we are in somewhere in China, maybe, or let's have a look. Oh, hang on. Oh, wait. There's a circle in it. There's a circle in that text. So we are in Korea. Obviously South Korea, because there's no Google cameras in North Korea, I don't think. Let's have a look. The Napier warm temperate forest. Oh, actually, yeah, no. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, definitely in South Korea here. But where in South Korea? Are we in Busan? What have we got? I don't think that we should touch this war. I don't even. Black Dot report that Labour intended to keep up transmisia. I don't know what that means. Okay, so what else we got? Any clues here? Anyone recognize this? I'm thinking South Korea because of the text. Might be wrong. Might be Japan or something. I don't think it's China. I think that's definitely Korean on the signs. Got 47 seconds. Oh. There was a sign. I saw the sign. Come on. Oh, okay. All right. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, okie doke. 100. Right. Let's find. Where does South Korea live? Right. Let's try and find Peiwaro. Okay. Where is that? That's not really obvious. Oh, we've only got 12 seconds. We've got to pick somewhere. Oh, sod it. I'll just go for Seoul. Okay, let's go. Oh, no! It was on this island over here! Ah! It was on Jeju Island. Is that Jeju Island? Jeju Island. There you go. It's funny what Graham said about Brits moving towards a certain part of the world so they can get away from certain people. George, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, my friend. That's very kind of you. Why is the screen like gone really weird over there? Why is that? Why is my screen on here? Like, because on this screen it's not, doesn't look like that. That's really weird. Oh, it's just I think the settings are on really, really bright. Hang on a sec. Properties, filters. Okay, close. Oh, sorry about that. Oh God, I'm wasting time. I've wasted a few minutes there. All right, okay, so we're in France. Rue Martine Brigundy. Okay, so we're in France. Oh, this has got to be France, hasn't it? Unless it's a French island somewhere and they're just messing with us. Narrow little roads. Oh my God, how'd you get down these roads in a car? Okay. Definitely in France or a French-speaking country. It looks pretty French. I'm gonna put France down, and then it's gonna turn out to actually be in the Caribbean. It's obvious that this is gonna happen. Seventh. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, listen. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. Where's the seventh? Arrondment? 17th. Come on, let's have a look. 7th. Is it quite close then in for the 7th? 17th, 15th. Does anyone know which bit the 7th is? Is it up, down, left, or right? Is it north, south, east, or west? The 7th arrondment of France, of Paris. Jesus, does it start from the north? Seems like something they would do, like from the Revolution times. 7th arrondment, south, not Paris. What, south? No, but it said 7th arrondment. So there's the 15th, 12th, 19th. Okay, I've just got to pick somewhere. Fantastic guess. Oh, it was Marseille. Sorry. You were right. Who said it was the south? Yeah, it was Marseille. Anyway, one more chance. I've got the right country twice, just completely the wrong place. In the right country. It's just because I saw on the sign that it was the 7th month or whatever. Let me have a look. So we're walking along. There's a couple of people. They're just having fun. What does this sign say? Let's have a look. Centre for Arts and Humanities is there. Okay, cool. That's not really helping me much. It's not Britain. Okay. Somewhere they speak English. Tropical, clearly, because you've got this tropical tree there. Oh, hang on. Tobacco free. Where's tobacco free? Tell me where. Where are we? Orb. Tobacco free. Orb. AUB. What does AUB mean? Does anyone know what AUB stands for? Anyone in the chat? New Zealand. AUB. That's written in Arabic there. It's definitely not New Zealand because it doesn't have the right. Okay, so we've got Arabic and English and AUB. Cyprus. Why would they have Arabic? They wouldn't have Arabic in Cyprus. It'd be Turkish. No, it wouldn't be Turkish unless we're in North. Medcash. So are we in the Mediterranean? Maybe. AUB. College Hall and Orb Museum. Where's AUB? AUB. Anyone know where AUB is? Where are we? We could be in. Bloody hell! Where are we? I don't know. Somewhere where they speak Arabic, I guess. So, could we hazard a guess that maybe I'm in Tunisia? Maybe. Oh! What's this sign? What's this? What's that flag? Oh God, I don't know. Oh shit! I've got to pick somewhere. Quick. Oh fuck. It was Lebanon. Oh, well, I did shit there. I'm not doing that again. AUB. Beirut, said one angry pagan. Yeah, you were right. It was Beirut. AUB. Why is AUB Beirut? Damn, I wish I'd seen that message from one angry pagan before I just picked Tunisia. But yeah, that makes sense because there were signs in French and signs in English and signs in Arabic, which is something that they will probably do there. So well done. One Angry Pagan. One Angry Pagan got that. You got all the points. Well done, my friend. Well done. So there you go. And that's all we're going to get from Geoguessr this morning, because we're only allowed to do 3 games. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the latest breaking news. What have we got? On CNN, they're talking about the war spiraling in the Middle East as the US forces attacked. And Trump in his makeshift situation room. And Qatar warns a price has to be paid for Iranian strikes, and that Iranian strikes cannot go unanswered. So this is really risking a regional war. Certainly, Saudi refinery fire heightens concern over global energy supplies. Pilots are seen on ground after multiple US planes crash in Kuwait. Israelis seek shelter underground as Iran crisis grows. 9 hospitals seriously damaged in Iran, says a lawmaker. There was a kids' school, there was a girls' school that was hit in Iran, causing the deaths of over 140 people. Lebanese face another round of cross-border conflict, so that's obviously kicking off. And we've got live reporting coming over here from the BBC. From 6 minutes ago. Iran's actions a dangerous escalation. Iran's actions in the this is a joint statement from the US and 6 allied Gulf states, targeting civilians and non-combatant states as reckless behavior that undermines stability. Do you know what else undermines stability? Basically doing what you're doing there. Doing what you're doing in the Middle East, that kind of undermines stability a little bit. We can head on over to the other screen, and we can see. Let's just get that. We can have a look at what the BBC is saying. The latest from this new conflict. So another day, another fucking war. God, is anyone else absolutely exhausted? Is anyone else just like, oh my God, you wake up every morning, you go, oh God, what now? IDF says it's killed senior Iranian intelligence officials. We've got Saudi says fire at state oil refinery under control after drones intercepted. Saudi Arabia's energy ministry says limits of fire at the Ras Tanura refinery, which is run by the country's state. We've also got no signs that Iran's nuclear facilities are damaged, which is good, I guess. Oh, I disconnected. Sorry about that. Sorry for anyone who was buffering. Sorry for the buffering. I apologize. What can we tell about the fighter jet seen crashing in Kuwait? I don't know. It was an American one, apparently. Okay, that's going to be it now, I think. I'm going to sign off in a minute. So IDF equals Daleks. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I got a phone and says, yes, I'm trans. Of course, I'm exhausted waking up thinking, what now every goddamn day? Yeah, honestly, Ren, my heart goes out to you. Like, the shit we've had to put up with. Like, the people of the world, the good people of the world have had to put up with for the last 10 years is one thing. But the shit that the trans people of the world have had to put up with since this war on trans started by the oil companies because they wanted to distract from the fact that they're fucking cooking the planet. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But, so listen, I'll let you know my schedule. I'm going to be heading down to London tonight. I don't think I'll be doing a stateside with I could do a stateside in real life, in person with Scott, but I've got a lot of shit to organise, a lot of stuff to get together, and I'll be staying in London tonight, getting up nice and early to go to Heathrow on Tuesday morning or tomorrow morning, and I'll be in the airport just after 9, so I might do a little sort of travel brew from the airport once I'm checked in. It'll probably be about 10 o'clock. So please, again, don't just give us the old thumbs up, okay? Because a thumbs up is always welcome on this channel. But please, can you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification? Hit the bell, because that'll give you a buzz in your pocket when I'm going to go live. And there might be just some random bits when I just want to show you something on the road, on the way to the island. I'll start traveling tomorrow morning. I won't actually get to the island until quite late on Wednesday night. I've got a few stops to make along the way. But yeah, I'm going to be going to Toronto. I might give you a little bit of Canada Brew from Toronto tomorrow, and then in the evening, very late at midnight, I should be getting into Costa Rica, so I might do a little morning brew in Costa Rica for you from the airport in San Jose. Then in the morning, I'm flying over to Panama City. I might do a little bit from Panama City if I've got the time. I'll be picking up, hopefully, my residency card so I can stay there, my scheduler. I can stay there for 10 years if I want to. Not that I can, but it's nice to have the option, I guess. And then I'll be jumping on a flight. Sorry, I am flying to Bocas del Toro, and then hopefully getting picked up by Ishmael in the Ginger Ninja, my new boat, and heading over to Ginger Island and seeing what's what. So normal service. Abnormal service should be resumed on Thursday this week. So Thursday, look out for Island Brew, which will be going out hopefully at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm thinking if people still listen to James O'Brien, even though he's a little bit problematic to say the least, they can then finish listening to him, and rather than listen to Sheila Fogarty because she's a bit of a turf, you can come listen to me instead. I just realised that my lapel was tucked under there, which was fix that now. It's all good. Take care and be kind, peeps and peepettes. I'm going to find a way to calm my temper and cheer myself up. Yeah, Gallifreyan event, great idea. I suggest cryptic crosswords and model making and jigsaws and gardening. The weather's not too bad now, and it's not frosty. It's all spring clean. It's now spring. It's April. No, it's March. Yay! The March hares are running out, being mad. So yeah, please enjoy your time, and if you need to unplug from the rest of the world for a little while, please join me on my trip to Ginger Island later this week, starting tomorrow. And I am minded, depending on how things go, to just start doing those island brews that I used to do in the afternoon for you, where we just sit around and have a chat about whatever you want to have a chat about. Don't even have to fucking talk about the news or politics or war or poverty or transphobia or just people being gobshites. Let's talk about just nice things that have happened in our lives and things that we enjoy doing. But yeah, COD zombies for me, says Pete. Yep, there you go. Call of Duty. And Alex mentioning, bye, guys. Keep safe, game. Oh, thank you. And we're getting some love from SG for Island Brew. Yes. And Sarah says, Graham, take me with you. Will you fit my backpack? Will you fit? I don't have any check-in luggage, I'm afraid. You'll have to fit me backpack, and it's already got me. It's already got all my kit in it. sorry, Sarah. But one day we'll launch the People's Republic of Ginger Island. I have a Lego Artemis rocket to build when I wake up at 3 a.m. Calms the brain. Listen, before I go, I want to just send out love and support to friend of the channel, Mike Dix, incredibly talented cartoonist who will be undergoing surgery tomorrow, life-changing surgery tomorrow as a result of his cancer diagnosis. And so yeah, sending out all the love to Mike, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to have a chat with him sometime this month. That would be absolutely fantastic. And see how it all went and how he's how he's getting on. So yeah, if you're watching this, Mike, all the best, mate. And yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you when you get out and when I get to Ginger Island or something. So you're getting hugs. You're getting hugs from Sarah, and SG is sending love as well. Oh, that's nice. Okay, my friends. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be the last morning brew for a little while, at least until April. So thanks for joining me this morning. Obviously, I can't do morning brew over in Panama because it's 5 hours behind. So I'll actually be doing it like fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's just not going to happen. So yeah. So there wouldn't be any light. You wouldn't be able to see me. I'd be lit up like a torch under my chin, like in the Blair Witch Project. And no one wants to see that. So yeah, we'll be doing that 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, depends what sort of works for me on the island. And yeah, I'll be doing shows. Apart from that, I'll be doing shows whenever I can get decent enough internet. Whenever I go into town and can hook up on the internet of some cafe or some bar or something. So I'll take you with me. I will take you with me as much as I can, as much as I possibly can. And I've got a new phone specifically for this reason, for being able to take you on my adventures. So keep watching Politics Social with Graham Hughes here. Keep being awesome. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the people in this chat. I really do. And the people watching, the community that we've built has over the last couple of years has been amazing. It's going to be 3 years of doing this in March, at the end of March, our 3-year anniversary. And I'm really proud of what we've managed to do here. So, and a lot of that is down to you, the audience, and being supportive of this channel. Talking of being supportive of this channel, thanks so much for the super chats. Really, really appreciate it. You keep this channel going. And until we meet again, my friends, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.